And a special good afternoon to everyone. Thank you so very much for tuning in to Viewpoint. It is Thursday, getting closer to the weekend. Thank you so very much. Again, let me remind everyone that the live stream is up once again. Please go to tvcarib.com or you can go to my website, seymourjournal.com. Either way, you'll be able to get in and have access to be able to see the faces on the program and to see the faces behind the conversation. Customarily, we would tune into our radio, but if that's your choice, sure, you'll be able to listen and be a part of our conversation. MP Omar Ottley is here with me today, and we'll be having a conversation with him in terms of lots of what has been going on, especially in our parliament. He's the leader of the United People's Party, and therefore I believe he's also the faction leader in the parliament as well. Correct. And lots of things that you've been working on, but we'll get to it piece by piece.
No problem.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon, Wendell. Always a pleasure to be here. Good afternoon to the viewing and listening public of St.Maarten. Hope you're having a great day. Mm-hmm. And if you aren't, just know that you're blessed to be here.
Mm-hmm. I can't help but letting you know that it seems like you've been doing the rounds because you've been everywhere because of a lot of things that have been happening.
Yeah.
My main concern, though, is what is happening on the floor of Parliament.
Okay.
And aside from that, I wanted to touch a little bit on the GB stuff that you've been working on, and it seems to be making no headway, no place. And everyone is just being squeezed to the max.
Correct.
And from what I understand from inside GBE, even GBE is on the squeeze. So I don't know what is going on. And you have been elected to represent. And here you are to answer to some of these. First of all, is a parliament majority election is in some kind of trouble at this stage?
For me, I can't say. Only they can say, but it looks so. You have a prime minister warring with his minister of Versailles, who's also in his party. We have seen the public fight of the minister of Trade, the minister of Finance. We see now where CALM is basically almost divided into silos and who is for who and who's not for who. You know, if I am a member of this coalition and I am a member of parliament, I always tell them silence is consent. Nothing is happening in this country. Everything is stagnant. You said it at the beginning. We're being squeezed. Sometimes people have such a hatred for someone that they don't see the suffering they're going through because of that hatred. What I mean, some people just have a hatred for the previous government. So no matter what, it will always be, but you were there 4 years.
Yeah.
But you was there. But they're there 2 years now. What's happening? I can list what I did for 4 years. You know? What can they list? Nothing. We don't have a budget 2025 amendment. We don't have a budget 2026. Halfway into the year, we're gonna then do what budget 2026 when we should be preparing for 27. And I say this because they were the ones bragging. Oh, we the first to bring a budget on time. You were also the first to have to bring back a budget because it wasn't in accordance. Everything is stagnant. Everything. Let's go down the line. The economy. What's going on? Nothing. Nothing. Lies and promises. Lies and promises with the marketplace. 1 minute there's an excavator there, next minute there's not. Then we see work going on, then we find out there's no work permit. Fooling the people. Justice. Tell me how many LBAs has been signed, how many bachelors has been signed since. Tell me, have they been paid? They've been promised to be paid. In the 2024 amendment, the Minister of Justice told me that the money wasn't there. Let's go down the line from me. Everyone every day is complaining. Belvedere itself is neglected. You realize no one is talking about Belvedere. I purposely stood quiet for a while. But Belvedere is neglected. Right? Belvedere is one of the biggest districts. During the election, everyone promises. You're going to own your own home. We're going to fix it up. We're going to do this. But who is fighting? Who is fighting for these people? No one. They're being ignored. Okay? The road is in deplorable condition. No affordable houses, no projects going on. District cleaning. There's no even district cleaners in the road. Garbage haulers, the road is a mess. The garbage is a mess. Then we see now garbage haulers saying they have not been paid for months and months and months. The landfill being blocked. Machines not working on the landfill. Garbage overflowing in the pond. I'm not making this up. These are facts. This is the state of our country. This is the state of our country. What has the Prime Minister done for our country to bring us closer to whether independence, and when I say independence, being financially independent? What loans and grants has he established for us for the betterment of our country? We have a loan from GEBE. I know we're going to touch on GEBE, but for 7.6 million. And guess what? That generator has not even been purchased. The tender has not even been finalized. And I told St.Maarten, I said, St.Maarten, if we are taking this loan for 76.8 million, 76.8 million, we are the ones paying it back. We. Government money is the taxpayers' money that you accumulate from taxation. So when a loan is being paid by government, it's being paid by the people. Look at it, Wendell. Stop me when I'm lying. I did not support the budget 2025 the second time around because there was no revenue generating measures. Revenue generating measures are measures that can bring money to the country without taxing the people. There's no creative mind within this government. Again, stop me when I'm lying. There's talks of taxing on the landfill, taxing for your garbage. The minister said he will now start the tax based on the weight of your car. Dividend tax was also brought up. There's always tax. Every time, look at it, gas prices up,
But
up.
revenue generating measure?
No, that's their revenue generating measure. When you talk to Omar, Ottley, and the United People's Party, revenue generating measures are when the outside world pay for the inside. Example, the tourist levy.
Yeah, we are with that, by the way.
They have it there sitting. I think the SAID made their remarks on it, so now it's to go ahead. And that's another debacle because right now we don't have a SAID no more because the Prime Minister's inaction. See where we're going with this country?
There's no
SAID at the moment. So any laws, any sense of progress that has to go to the SAID cannot happen no more. So the country will be stagnated again. I have laws currently at the SAID. I have laws that I got back. Thank God that I was able to get back some advice. But any law moving forward cannot happen unless the SAID is in place.
What is happening at the SAID? Might as well.
So there needs new appointment.
Oh.
The Prime Minister is in charge of that. Again, not responding to people. We have the situation with the firefighters. Ambulance goes slow over a year now. That would have never been accepted in our government. I'm not making this up. This is the current state of our country. Well, now, let me show you something. I know people can't see. Some people can see who are here live. I'm just going to give you an example on when you want to do something, you're going to do it. For too long, the people have been getting excuses. And it's always, oh, we don't want to do it like the previous government. We want to do it the right way. When we were in there, I'm going to say it, 2022, I was the Minister of TAD. Me and the Minister of Finance, then Arthur Aaron, did a relief for the people at the pumps. Not collection of TOT. August 2022, look it up. Ottley says pumps and gas stations must comply with the relief. When I was Minister of ASI, I reduced the amount required for reconnection. Look at it, the proof is in the pudding. I also did the deal with 7Cs, saving them $400,000 a year, in which in the agreement with Jimmy, if I sign this deal, the relief has to go back to the people. It's there. Don't ask. Don't fix your mouth to say, what did you do? Because I can tell you what I did. And I'm saying, government, follow the footsteps. Right? It's there. It's a possibility. October 2024, October 29, 2024, that's my birthday. I sent a motion in Parliament. That's my first motion. It was passed by 8. That motion was for us to go back, revise, give a relief of up to 5,000 guilders for those who have a back pay bill. It was also
GB.
Yes, at GB. It was also for us to see what GB can offer to the people. It was also for us to go through and create a structure. Oh, it took 9 months to get a BTP report to say the same thing that I was saying. I brought another motion in 2025 to basically help deal with clamp SUL. And the government charges double TOT on gas. I want the people to know that. Government has TOT twice on the government breakdown. Look at it, it's there. In my motion in 2025, I asked for the government to remove the TOT. What happens, people? The main supplier will charge TOT. The next person paying the TOT will put their TOT for you to pay it. Then the companies that has to get their stuff on the port will then charge your TOT, and it goes and goes, and we the consumer are the last stop. By then you're paying 5 times TOT. I asked the government to remove the TOT for a period of a year. Oh, we make 20 million a month on it. I said, oh, you make 20 million a month on it, but it's illegal. A drug dealer can make millions too, but then you lock him up. That don't mean it's right. Right? And the 20 million that you make comes from you, me, everyone. It comes from people here who are buying at the pumps. So that 20 million will be able to go back into your society. But they choose not to. They choose to move illegally because they make 20 million a month on it. Speaking of 20 million, let me show you.
So, in essence, you're saying when there is an increase at the pumps for gasoline, whether it's an outside effect or not, there is an opportunity for government to make more money.
Yeah, because the breakdown is there. On the breakdown, there's TOT, and then look at it, it's twice.
So they will probably relish that.
So we're paying 10%.
Not having any extra monies. They'll probably be happy when gas goes up.
Yes. Now you understand? That's what I'm saying. Who wants to do for you? Who wants to do? Now the minister is saying, we're going to do it the right way. When? How long is it going to take you to do it the right way? How long is it going to take you to do something? Because the people are suffering now. The people are hurting now. So it's always easy to say, oh, we don't want to do that. And that's the problem. We rather let the people suffer because MP Ottley made a solution. We don't want MP Ottley get praised. I ain't going to get praised. The people going to remember who do it.
Yeah.
8 months ago, I submitted a ministerial regulation to the minister. The minister has the authority to establish maximum prices for gas that enters this country for the purpose of electricity. Right now, she has the authority to do it at the pumps. That's why it goes to the government. But the minister can add in the MR, which I submitted to her, whereby then SUL will be capped. If gas goes up, it goes up, but you have a maximum of profit you can make. I am not making this up. The price of crude oil has dropped steadily, but yet gas has gone up. Who is monitoring the world market compared to the percentage we are paying? We pay more than the US, more than this, more than that. How? So who is monitoring what SUL is charging us? And that's what the MR said. And then the MR, if you do that, you will have GB. And then on top of that, in Curacao, there's a mechanism that keeps Aqua Elect in place.
Yeah.
Because if you go over the usage of a certain amount, that is the responsibility of the company. We also place that in the MR. But you know what? In St.Maarten, that is not here. You go over the usage of a certain amount, you know who pays for it? Us. Now they're talking about BTP will be able to walk in and demand the books, and the minister of Rummy has that authority. I have a letter from 2011, Wendell, from Theo Helliger, telling GEBE, you are not in compliance with the concession ordinance. You have not presented your numbers. You have not paid. You have been back. I want the street lights off of the people's bill. That's the power of a minister of Rummy. We request the numbers, we request this. And I want you to make a new tariff for the benefit of the people. 2011. You know what also happened in 2011, 2012? The Minister of TEAT said, I cannot wait on GEBE to answer me. I am going to lower the tariff from 28 cents to 25 cents per kilowatt. It can be done.
So
it was done.
There's no willingness to address that issue.
That's what I'm saying. You don't want to do what we do, then do what they did.
But that is okay. The pitfall in governing, but then to look back at Parliament, I wonder if because of the debacle or whatever confusion they're having, the energy and the interest is more towards that than towards actual governing and doing what needs to be done to provide service and relief for someone.
Wendell, so your viewing public and my viewing public. I read to you right here. Curacao. Just the title. Curacao government releases 20 million support package to offset the cost of living. April 30th, 2026. I repeat again. Curacao government releases 20 million support packages to offset the cost of living increase.
That's looking out for your people.
Okay. Have it here again. Curacao to support bus drivers with diesel assistance to prevent fare increase. So Curacao is supporting the bus drivers with diesel assistance. You know why? To prevent fare increase. Fare increase is what? That is what you are charging the people to ride on the bus. Yeah. So if it's $2 to go to town, of course, with the increase, the bus drivers will now charge you $3 or $4. Curacao said, no, we're going to absorb the cost. So you don't have to charge our people anymore. You want me to keep going? I just got another one. Government of Angola has paid more than 3.3 million EC in electrical and fuel subsidy, delivering relief to 7,925 customers. April 2026. Look at here. For those of you listening on the radio, you can't see, but I'm providing the documents. What are we doing? Look what we're doing. June 2025, Marcelino sends energy relief recommendations to board. This is when we were promised in August we're going to get relief. Then we were promised in December we're going to get relief. Nothing. I have this, is so important. Now the Minister of TEAT says, we want to do it the right way, and we're going to do the LBHAM, and we're going to... Election was August 2024, August 19th. I have an article, July 30th, 2024. Minister St.Maarten wants to introduce special tariff for all seniors, Tariff 60. Sent to GB for recommendation of Tariff 60. Campaign promises. So if you want to do it the right way, this is why I say how long. Stop playing with the people. Because 8 months ago, I gave you an MR. 8 months ago, I gave you a letter stating that BTP, you can instruct BTP to carry out new tasks. And I'm happy to see that action is taken. But another minister said, even though we're taking this action, I'm still going to do an LBHAM. So my thing is, how long? Because even if you put aside the MR that I gave, what happened to this Tariff 60 that you promised July 30th, 2024? We're almost 2 years now. In a month, we're going to be 2 years since you made that promise. So that hasn't come in 2 years. How long will the relief take to come? This is why I don't believe them. This is why.
Does not having money have anything to do with inaction?
Not being able to find money. Not having money. There's money there. And this is why we go back to the basis of the conversation. Mm-hmm. Revenue generating. The first time I voted on the budget, I said it. I said, I am going to give you the opportunity and the choice. Look, they said Article 4 and 5 of the Price Ordinance allows the Minister of TEAT to get information you need. So you already can get the information. Wendell, I sent you on your phone at MR in Curacao, where the minister was establishing maximum prices via MR in Curacao using their price ordinance. So our price ordinance allows it. If you want to do it, you will do it. But it makes me wonder why. I just read to you the letter from Teo Helga in 2011. Why haven't our Minister of Rummy taken this same course of action like Teo did in 2011 and said, listen, nothing is in place. We have generators we're not using. Every time there's maintenance there, we are paying for the extra fuel, the extra oil, the extra maintenance. We are paying for it. We have a fuel class that has spiked tremendously, and I told the people of St.Maarten this was coming. You remember I did the town hall meeting? I came here almost 3 times by you. I came here. And guess what happened? Some places maybe had 3, 4 persons, that showed up. Now everyone is feeling it. And to show you how people think, right? Let me show you how people think. And this is why, Wendell, we have to understand. I have someone here saying, why didn't the previous government do? Look, that's an example of how they think. And I just gave you all the examples of what the previous government did. Right? It just shows you we are so quick to just react, to defend. But the reality is, show me where I'm lying then. Show me where I'm lying.
Let me take a break. We haven't even gotten to some of the different topics just yet, but to scratch the surface and so on. MP Omar is my guest today. We will continue our conversation right after we take a quick break.
Hello, St.Maarten. This is Mikey for a Napa article from the New Type Tools with some good news and some bad news. The good news is that on Friday, May 24th...
Welcome back to our conversation with MP Omar Ottley. He is the faction leader for the United People's Party in Parliament. But of course, he served for quite some time as a minister and therefore comes with quite some information for him to make some of the comparisons that he made. But to get back to what the general feeling is out there, it seems to be that our parliament are not doing enough to be able to address our situation. But we need to understand that you have the constant ministers that are doing the day-to-day function. Correct. And you mentioned at the start that one of the problems that we are having is operation in silos, as you call it. That is your word.
That's my word.
Yeah, but what he's simply saying is that each individual person seems to be having their own government. Let's put it that way. When in fact there need to be a coherent functioning based on what their plan is. I don't even know if there is a plan, if it's safe to say there is, because there was nothing published that I know of.
Correct.
But it doesn't give us the feeling. They say we elect our members of parliament and we want them to make sure that they oversee what needs to get done so that it can be done in the interest and in the furtherance of our people and country. So what are they missing then?
So what is missing when this is why I tell people, right? I did an article stating that I am not in this government. Because what happened is, a lot of people still doesn't understand our apparatus. They doesn't understand parliament, doesn't understand executive council, executive branch, right? You elect members of parliament and you appoint ministers, and ministers execute the work, the tasks, the jobs, the buildings, execute. Parliament cannot do that. What I mean is because exactly being popular as well, I meet a lot of people that come to me and would complain. And I explain to them, well, I'm in opposition. I can fight for you. But the most I can do is articles, make my mouth big, do motions, present stuff. And if the government doesn't execute it, it won't happen. Prime example, the GEBE motions.
Yes.
I have assisted from the opposition benches on ways that we can go forward and help the people. I have done this. I have not only criticized, I have tried to assist. The government doesn't carry it out. Number 2, Parliament has what you call opposition and coalition. Coalition are the majority members and also the President of Parliament. And you are hearing many complaints where the President of Parliament is protecting these ministers. A prime example, it's almost a year now since we have had the GEBE urgent meeting. Do you know we are still required the second round? The Prime Minister has not come back. It was on the agenda last week and taken off. Something so important as GEBE, so important. We have not continued that meeting. And there's a lot of other meetings where we talk to the ministers and say, well, you are not coming, you are choosing. And they say, well, we haven't received this meeting. We haven't received this request. When we were ministers, they told us nothing comes above Parliament unless you're gone, you traveled. You're not traveling, traveled, or you're sick or dead. And when Parliament call, you drop everything. Here, these ministers say, we going to let you know when we're coming back. When we ask questions, I had to provide every salary, everything of everybody in my cabinet. When I asked the Prime Minister, he said on the floor of Parliament, I don't think that's relevant. And the President of Parliament never told him to answer. That's the type of respect we have been getting. So when people ask about Parliament and stagnation, they have to look at the Presidium and the President of Parliament. They decide what meetings are urgent. I can call an urgent meeting right now. It don't have to be honored. The President, the discretion is up to the President to decide if it's urgent. And if it's something that will hurt the coalition, I can guarantee you that minister will not be coming one time. They have a meeting and how we going to handle it and how we going to... It's politics, but I want people to understand. Some people still think I'm the minister of VSR. You understand what I'm saying? Because I'm out there, you're vocal, and I tell people I'll fight for you, I'll make noise for you. That's why I did my town hall meeting. So you cannot say I only come in your district during election. There was no election. I came to hear you. So when I speak, and I say, an old lady, a senior, in Sucker Garden has a bill of 80,000, and I said on the floor of Parliament, you can't say I'm lying because I saw it. And now when I open my Facebook, all I'm seeing is every single person GB bill complaining. This is ridiculous. Who gonna help us? This is ridiculous. I presented the formula on how to adjust the fuel clause based on the BTP report. I didn't make the BTP report. The government asked for it. Seven Seas does not even pay fuel clause. Seven Seas is the water company.
Yeah, but somebody told me just recently that for companies, I don't think residents pay. There's a fuel clause on water.
Residents pay. Go look at your bill. You paying it too. This is my argument. Not for companies. It's on your bill. BTP said it. They said Seven Seas is not paying fuel clause. We do not understand why. This is in the report. They recommend that Seven Seas pay fuel clause because then in that formula, the denominator of the formula would be bigger and the fuel clause would be less.
But doesn't that make it more expensive?
No, if they pay fuel clause?
Yeah.
No. Because look, let me just break it down. The formula has a numerator and a denominator. We're doing fractions. If I put 100 on the top, I'll make it simple. 100 at the top and 2 at the bottom. The answer is 50. If I put 100 at the top and 10 at the bottom, the answer is 10. See, when the bottom gets bigger, the number gets smaller. If you add that fuel clause into that denominator, your automatic fuel clause comes less. BTP report said they do not understand why Seven Seas is not paying fuel clause. And when you look, we are paying it. So we are paying the fuel clause for Seven Seas. See what I'm saying?
The company that generates the water.
Yes. So in essence, in the regulation that I put, no, Seven Seas has to pay their fuel clause, and the people of St.Maarten should not be paying fuel clause on that. All of that is in there. You see, they're talking about tariff 60. I presented a senior tariff as well in the MR because in the regulation I showed you from Curacao, the minister has the authority to create new categories. What? Everyone asks why schools pay commercial because there's no category for schools. In Curacao, there's a category for hospital, category for this. So we can create the structure. It's there.
Yeah. There's so much to talk about. I wanted to get to the story that was in the paper some time ago that the VSR minister released in terms of the amount of money that SSB owes to the hospital. What is happening here as far as, you're the ones that did this.
Again, let's go back to when I speak. When we were doing the ENIA had about 3,000 policyholders. That ENIA saga and that pressure that we got from Holland was forced to save Curacao. Curacao could not have survived a year. St.Maarten could have survived 3 more years. I said we can find a solution within our 3 years. Because, number one, Central Bank, everybody else messed up with this whole mother-based situation in Ansari. Everyone messed up. Guess what happened now? We went, we do this, we put ourselves in debt. The day later, Curacao said, Mother Bay basically is theirs. That basically is theirs. St.Maarten politicians can say what they want. Malawi belongs to central bank, and we have majority in our face. I told you. I said there, and I'll tell you what this have to do with that. I said we are focusing on fixing this, but SFA has 78% of our population, 80%. They have put out the article that they are in the depth of 19 million and projected to lose 27 million for 2025. Everyone ignore it. When I was there, again, for those who would say, well, you as the minister, blah, 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 let's look at it. 1, 2, 3, accepted audits. First time ever during my tenure. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's there. We took the necessary steps, the necessary legislation. It's there. The proof is there. Not saying that money was not owed to SMV during my tenure, but the proof is there. First time ever. We took the steps to rectify and help fix SMV. You cannot deny that. But I told them this was coming. And now, again, the hospital is saying SMV owe money. But on the contrary, SMV is the biggest financier of the general hospital.
But this is not the first time that happened, though, because
No, of course
there was
not.
a time when they were rejecting
Patients.
SLV cards. You couldn't, when you go to a hospital, you have SLV cards, they were not accepting.
Can I ask you a question? Let me show you how we don't even have no transparency. Just as a citizen, do you know who's in charge of GB at the moment?
No, I have no idea.
Do you even know who's in charge of SFA at the moment?
No.
St. Glenn Cartila. This is the transparency of this government.
Yeah.
This is the transparency of this government.
So who are they?
I have no idea. Because the temporary manager was there. The temporary manager, according to the articles of incorporation, there's supposed to be no more temporary manager once a C is installed. Last I heard, they were installing Paris, CFO. Is he installing GB? I don't know. So we as members of parliament, I'm showing you this, we as members of parliament, no update, no this. And again,
so if you're not updated, how do you expect us
exactly
to be updated?
Exactly. And if we have our meetings like we are supposed to have, the urgent meetings that affect the people of St.Maarten, we will be able to acquire information.
So we are busy protecting than we are providing information. I don't know how much this is going to help us, but you understand that the people are hurting badly. And a lot of them are in the dark when it comes to what is the real situation. Hence the reason to have you guys in, and then it's so much to share. And yeah, so the time to do so.
Listen, and again, if something is good, it's good. If something is bad, it's bad. I have gave compliments before to the ministers when something is good. Okay? But the topics, what we're talking about, and when I speak of things, I speak on it because it was done already. And I speak on it. You know, people have short-term memory, so maybe they don't remember certain things. So I try to remind them as much as possible. It can be done. It can be done.
Yeah, something else, I think, and some of our elected officials in Parliament are busy, occupied, busy with establishing themselves in other activity and don't have enough time to actually work in Parliament, despite you explaining that the majority and the person who chairs the Parliament is the one that would respond to the request for overseeing and making sure that things are going the way it's supposed to. Despite all that, it seems that the members of Parliament find time for extra activities that take up a lot of their energy.
Well, you know, you have a right. You have a right to. Listen, let me tell you something. I like my freedom. It's how I am. I like to do what I like to do. So nobody can tell me what I like to do because I work hard. I'll give you a prime example. We are there. August 19th was the election, right? Civil Code sent, got back when they said LTO, dealing with kids born in St.Maarten, got back. At the said right now, profit tax legislation, lab legislation, and there's 2 more. 6 legislations I have done, submitted for review. Some sent to the Council of Advice already, some sent to the Senate. Now I got back 4. So we're in the process of reviewing and sending back to the council to receive our advice. We already started handling one in Parliament. I say that to say this. I can't speak for everybody else. I can speak for me. The proof is in the pudding. I have work. I'm a workaholic, and I will always work. And I do that. I do my work well because when I have my leisure time, what I do is what I do.
What do you do in your leisure time, by the way?
Business. I try to establish as much business as I can. I'm a business-oriented person. I believe in entrepreneurship. I've always believed in that. Let me give you an example. When everyone talks about this salary, 10,000, 10,000, 10,000. When half of it goes in tax. It's not even a question. 48% gone in tax. So half of your money gone. You go home with $5,000, and it's I'm a public figure. So I'm telling you my business. To do the average price to do one lot, it's about 7,500.
Did you get assistance
No.
to do some of the
Zero.
amendments that you did?
Zero. The only assistance I have gotten is my staff. Great, amazing staff that push. But just give me an example, and I just told you how much we have submitted. See why you focus on business? Because the money to do these laws doesn't come from Parliament. Parliament will assist is when you're done, you submit it, they will help you review. But the money to do it doesn't come.
And it does take a little bit longer.
It takes very long because the process is you go, you get it done, you have to wait on information.
So in the absence of the sale at this moment,
nothing can move unless you already got information from the sale. Nothing can move. So if I make a new law right now, it makes no sense. Nothing can move because there's no sale. When we were there was the issue as well. With
and the responsibilities with general affairs
yes.
to be able to appoint these members so that we can have a function.
Yes. Yes. That's the state of our country. I'm not making this up. Everything is there, it's documented, it's proof. It's proof. You know what you have, you know what you had, you don't know what you're getting.
I heard someone made a statement about online. I don't know whatever it is, but this was pure conscience, if you ask me. And it was mentioned about folks coming from Bangladesh to sit on to actually work or whatever. We important. Basically, do we have enough resource to fit these critical positions, or we have to end up importing people from elsewhere to get it done?
Again,
maybe Curacao, maybe because of the Dutch, of course, Suriname, wherever. Do we need to go that route? Is that the problem we're having? Why we can't have these functioning departments?
Okay, there's a couple of things. One, we have to first put the call to the people. When I was there, there's job fairs. We did the SOS policy whereby any major company that wants to develop in St.Maarten has to invest in NEPA, do job fairs. The proof is there.
Yeah.
The airport did it, the hospital did it, the hills did it. And that was my thing. You want work permits, you have to exercise every means of getting our people. Number two, the salaries are very unattractive. A lot of our skilled and professionals doesn't want to come back because the money they can make in the US, the money they can make elsewhere seems a lot more attractive. Because, for instance, I studied in the US, of course, it's not no secret. I did both my high school diploma, bachelor's, and master's degree in the US. I knew when I got my bachelor's in civil engineering, I knew what I was going to make in the work field. I knew when I got my master's, it was an automatic minimum. So that's how it works, right? Example, you got your bachelor's degree, you know that they are allowed to pay you between
X amount.
Yeah, that's an example, 3,000 to 5,000. You know when you get your master's, you're going to get 5,000 to 7,000. You know this. Okay? For me, when you get your doctorate, it wasn't increase in pay. It was like more like if you want to be a teacher or professor in my field. In St.Maarten, I can have a master's degree and then you literally tell me a minimum wage. So when I was there as minister, that was in the process. I wanted to establish a wage based on education professional category, whereby we have to learn to treat our people good.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to promote going further in your education. If I know that, hey, I want to make this type of money, I know I need my master's degree. I know I need to go back to college. I need to get my bachelor's.
So that incentive will encourage that.
Incentive. And that is something that definitely we will continue to push. I tell you all the laws that I'm working on, what we're trying to do, and that is one of them that we're trying to establish.
An idea, say, to wrap it up,
Mm-hmm.
that the labor situation in St.Maarten has gotten the worst part of any deal in terms of survival because the minimum wage has been done the gutter and still not moving.
Yeah, of
And
course.
with the increase
Of course.
of our economy and the cost of living, how can they survive?
So-
They're getting the pinch.
So you have a couple of things again with the minimum wage, and that's why I say people, you choose what battles you want to fight, because with the minimum wage, I did it the biggest in history, not once but twice, right? And I brought it before leaving. I brought it to 1,000, right?
And with a fight.
With a big fight against the powers that be, big fight. But the people itself fought. Now the minimum wage will just increase by 20 cents. Nobody say nothing. So is it just when certain people is there we're upset? Because before me it was up by 1 cent. 1 cent. And before that it wasn't done for 7 years. And I said, you know what? Going to Curacao, I learned that the first time we did the indexation, the second time we used a different article in the law. So what I'm saying is, I also realized that the minimum wage is a problem. Let me tell you why real quick. If I am suffering, what the minimum wage does, it takes the indexation, which is the cost of rise of cost, 2%, an example. And based on that 2%, then your salary goes up 2%. But I'm still suffering. I'm still drowning. If I'm in the pool drowning, you raise the water 2 feet, and then you raise me up 2 feet. I'm still drowning.
Yeah.
What you have to do is raise the water 2 feet and raise me 3 feet, 4 feet.
Yeah.
That is why I circumvent that other piece just to get us where we need to be. I was working on a cost of living. The proof is in the pudding. We sent the request to the Senate. They didn't have enough information. That's when I was also tired, and I did the census. I was there when we did the census. The census was to gather the information so we can develop a proper cost of living. After, while the census being established, government election came, I'm no longer there. But everything is there. The information is there to establish and let us establish a cost of living. And what is a cost of living for those who don't know? A minimum wage. I just want to make this clear. People cuss the government, but really no. A minimum wage is just a wage that the government is saying this is
Can't
the
go
wage.
any lower.
You can't go lower. A minimum wage is not a wage that the government is telling the businesses to pay you.
Yeah.
So people,
I think that is clear.
No, but people,
everybody subject themselves to that minimum wage.
So what the businesses do and say, oh well, that's the lowest we can go and not break the law. But now what we gonna pay you?
Yes.
But the government is not saying, hey, pay that person that. So what we want to establish now is a cost of living, which means how much does a person need to survive in St.Maarten?
Yeah.
Do away with this minimum wage nonsense, and this is the amount established by research and data that a person needs to survive. And what we will do, alleviate poverty. But at the same time, the government has a responsibility to ensure revenue generating measures so we can do what? Decrease the cost of fuel for these businesses, decrease the cost of goods for these businesses, and ensure that people are coming and money is spending, because we cannot kill out the businesses as well.
MP, I'm going to have to leave it there, really.
No problem, man.
It's always a pleasure to have you in, because I think you'll get a good feeling from you as to what the realities are, and that's what people want to hear. But I think our people need to be more informed and educated so how our system works to the point where they can be more informative in making their decision when it comes to who we elect to sit in our parliament.
Definitely.
I have 1 minute, but I want when we make the decision to put people in the Council of Ministers who are in most regard a rookie,
Mm-hmm.
how much do you expect to get when in fact it might be a better option to sit in a seat where you are elected and play the overseer role before you make such a decision? You subscribe to that?
The minister role is glorified. The minister, you execute. Everyone wants to, when you listen to a campaign, you rarely hear people talk about what it really is, which is laws and parliament. Yes. Everyone talks about, we want to fix the bridge, we want to fix this. And that is what is glorified. Number two, the screening law has to go. Because what is happening, the people that we elect, obviously, we see the prosecutor play games when they want to put an investigation on you because they don't want you to be there. Then later they tell you, oh, sorry, you're clean. So what they do, you basically are forced to just put somebody that you think gonna pass screening. So you have this person is perfect for the job, and when you look, they can't pass screening. Allegedly. Right? So you're trying to just pick, and that's what's happening. The screening law came about why? Because they didn't want you to be prime minister. And it's not even a real law. We don't have a law in St.Maarten. Aruba and Curacao has a law. We have policy.
Okay.
So you see the
Well,
manipulation.
who sanctioned that?
A lot the people that were there and they came back. We just do it to ourselves. And I say we because instead of fighting it, everyone embraced it because they don't want him to be prime minister. But years later now it's affecting everybody.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you, man.
I appreciate it. That was MP Omar Ottley. He spent the whole hour with me. I want to thank you so much for the information shared. Hopefully you can come back and join us tomorrow, God's willing. So an invitation is extended for you to do that. Then in the meantime, we gotta go. It's time for the news. So I'd say goodbye. You take care.